What's up, everybody? It's Becca. I want to talk about fraud. I want to talk about how it works and what it does and how it's destroyed the state of Minnesota in ways that maybe you see, maybe you don't see. And I'm feeling some type of way. I was going to get all the screenshots, all the things, whatever, but I just have an earworm in my brain. I just went to church and I drove down Hennepin Avenue, and I'm going to show it to you later. And then I turned down Washington, and then I went up Chicago. If you know these streets, I'm going to walk them later if it's freezing cold out. But they're all, guess what, blank storefronts. All the places people told me to go with that was vibrant. And I'll prove it to you later today when it gets a little warmer. There was snow this morning. So let's talk about what happens, how it happens, and how prolific it is, because right now it's like everybody has their hand on the elephant that's fraud, right? And you have people saying, like, we've got the tusk and the tail and the legs and the back. Everyone's touching something different and describing it differently. And then others people are saying it's not that bad because they're like barely wanting to put their thumb on like a toenail of the elephant. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm just walking away and I'm just staring at the elephant. I'm staring at all the different people who have their little finger on the elephant, why they want to make sure the elephant stays in its cage and you never see it. Ready? Here we go. And because there are so many pieces of this, it's extremely challenging to prove to you because these government agencies don't want to tell you. I'm going to give you a short example. I did a public records request before the ICE problems. Right after my dad died, I was just feeling some type of way, and I just was like, I had a hunch. And I put in a public data request on the Cha-Cha-Chas, Chowdhury Chugtai Chavez, and possible signal chats with DSA people and anything involving ICE out, and then I named names. Yeah, I did, you guys. I did. And guess what? Those particular council members have not gotten back all these months later. I just got an email from the city saying we're still waiting, and their legislative aides have been reminded that they need, because I specifically said city-issued phones, private phones, or signal chats. They don't want to give me the information. In a less salacious way, I once asked for police reports from the city, and it took like 6 months to get the data. Anyone who's ever data requested anything knows how challenging this is. Now, have multiple organizations with multiple things. When I was parted ways with MPS, I was able to expedite, it still took a month, expedite data because it was my own. It was my own, right? But that was the only reason I was even given it, because all these agencies give you the runaround. They don't want you to know. Just like the city center kicked me out with my camera the other day. Okay, here we go. So you get a paper child, okay? It could be a paper child or it could be an actual child undocumented. This child does not have a birth certificate. There's no social security number. They either exist and are undocumented or they don't exist at all, okay? We're going to call this child, Peter, okay? We'll call the child Peter, just so that we can get rid of any affiliation that you might think of ethnicities or any of those isms that the DSA wants to like accuse you of. So we're going to call this paper child Peter, okay? What I mean by paper child is the child either exists and is undocumented and might be gone in 4 seconds, or they never existed, okay? But now you've got a piece of paper. We're going to take this actual piece of paper and say this is my child Peter. Okay? Are you with me? Now, Peter, I go and enroll Peter in free school because I don't know anything, right? Or I do. I enroll Peter in school, but Peter never shows, but now he's got like a process. He's starting to like bolster. He's got a second piece of paper because now the school has a record of him. Doesn't exist. Okay? Then I go and I apply for services online, and I have Peter. And now that the department, whatever it happens to be, circles back and looks and is like, oh, he's enrolled at this school. There's Peter. Yes, Peter can have free health care. Oh, yes, you can qualify for the child tax credit. Excellent. Oop, but now Peter has autism. I forgot about that. So Peter has autism, and now I'm going to get special services for Peter. And I get other tax credits for Peter and other services for Peter. And in fact, Peter has a lot of friends, Paul, Mary, Andrew, James, and John. And they all have autism. And I've got a stack of paper that shows me that these kids exist. And I'm going to start an autism center. So again, I can go to the public library and go online, click. And now I've got a government BARD ID that I can start receiving payments from Medicare and Medicaid for Peter and his friends. Oh, but we're really poor. Peter's really poor. So Peter and his friends, we need housing vouchers too. And I don't make any money because I'm just a poor autism center creator. Oh, also, I need free meals. Sorry, Peter's hungry and all of Peter's friends are hungry. So again, I go on the computer at the public library. Although now, from some of Peter's, child tax credit, I'm able to buy myself a new MacBook Pro. And now I go onto my MacBook Pro, click. And I'm able to sign up for all of the housing credits and the housing vouchers for Peter and his friends. Oh, you know what though? I'm pregnant. I've got another child. My friends have children. And then someone gets wise to this. So I go to someone with an actual child, not just a paper child. And I go, hey, we'll call my friend Betty. Okay? Hey, Betty. So your daughter, Hannah, do you think if I diagnosed her with autism that we could get her signed up in my program? Because I need some real children. And here's the thing is that I actually get paid $1,000 a month, Medicare, Medicaid, for this. I'll give you half of that. Then my friend Betty is like, good deal. Yeah, I actually have 8 kids who have autism and need free meals. Really? Well, our friend Norm has 25 kids who need that. Yeah, this is quite a deal. Hey, you know what? I see that they're building brand new McMansions, out in Inver Grove Heights. How about we move there? How about Lakeville, Eden Prairie? Let's move to Savage. They'll never find us. But we'll go down into Hennepin County every November to make sure to vote. Because Peter is eventually going to turn 18, and I can vouch for him. Meanwhile, the state has no oversight for any of this, but schools are getting paid. Social workers are getting paid. Department of Human Services government employees are being paid. And then, sometimes, I know it might be shocking, sometimes there are actually doctors who get kickbacks and are willing to do this and sign off. So let me ask you, am I just telling a story? Or am I explaining perfectly how and why our elections were overtaken? Because, I forgot to tell you, the person who told me this whole thing, how I was able to get away with it and make up Peter and all of his friends, yeah, that person is now an elected official. And so long as I give them, a couple grand every year to make sure they get reelected, and I vouch for my 8 friends in their particular precinct every year, it keeps going. No one's the wiser, right? And they're going to make sure I never get audited. My autism center, and my daycare, and my meals program. I'll see you out there.